I just started this before I was even ready. Are we on? Hello, hello. I've not even put the thing down. I've turned it on. I wasn't meant to come on this early. I'm not ready yet, but here we go. So we've got 14 people in. I've not even put this thing on the tripod yet, so let's put it down. I hope everyone can see and hear me. Oh, I tell you what, I'm not ready for this, folks. I'm not ready. I'm doing this on the cheap this week as well because the program that I normally use, I normally have like a program, but unfortunately I've had to uninstall the program from a computer, so I'm having to do it the cheap way. The cheap way, I'm afraid. I'm just using my phone for this this live stream. I hope you can bear with us. I've just got a cup of tea as well. I was meaning to drink my cup of tea before I came on. Hi to Kevin Rudd, William Johnson, Jay's here, Nancy Tompkins, Mildred is here, Charlie Dolby Adventures 3, Sir Fonzie Daz is in the house, 1, 2, 3, 4, David Howard. You get a good look at that picture there, don't you, that I took? You know, I took that picture back in 2017. It's a panorama of the Milky Way, and it's one of my favourite pictures that I've ever taken. Astronomy pictures that I've ever taken. Because it's amazing. I took it down in Cornwall. And I think what I want to do is I'll get that picture made bigger. And I tell you what, this is, don't hold me to this, but I'm thinking now, I might even, let me know what you think, this actual picture behind me, I say I want to get another one, a bigger one, maybe one that's not in a frame for myself for the house. I might, Moonage is here, hi to Moonage Daydream. David Howard is in the house. I might have a giveaway of this picture right here. What do you think about that, folks? It's been sat here behind here on the couch where I'm sitting now. I might even give it away. If I can think of a way to give it away, keep watching the channel because I might be giving that photograph away. It's one of my favourite photographs, but I want to get a bigger version of it for my house. And I think that's a nice picture actually. It's quite big. It's about 2.5 foot long by about 1.5 foot tall. A nice panorama there, which I took down in Cornwall back in 2017. So it's one of my favourite pictures. One cross each. Well, live, I actually came on a little bit. I started the live stream before I was ready. I don't even know how I did that, but we're on. At least I'm on early, because normally I'm messing around and it takes me longer to get on than normal, and I normally end up being late. So that's the tea finished. Sir Fonzie Daz, all ready for a laugh, yes. So if you haven't hit the like button, hit the thumbs up. And if you don't happen to be subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Hi to CW Kelly. We're coming to the end of August, folks. We're getting the dark skies back very soon. End of July. End of July, not end of August. The beginning of August, we get our dark skies back. Not for very long, but we do start to get, where I am anyway, it might be different where you are, but where I am, we actually start to get back the proper darkness at night. So the sun goes down, and it actually goes down far enough so that we actually start to get to the dark skies back. So now that might be different if you're up in Scotland. Now in Scotland in the summer, they get like an everlasting twilight. The further north you go in the summer, in the Northern Hemisphere, the longer the daylight lasts. There's even a point at which if you go as far north as the Arctic Circle and you're at the Arctic Circle on the solstice or any time around the solstice, a week before or a week after, you actually get the sun barely even sets if you're on the Arctic Circle. Go beyond the Arctic Circle and the sun won't set at all for, you know, however long. I don't know how long it is. I've always wanted to go up there and try it out, but I've not been up that far. I've not been up that far north. The furthest north that I've been is Iceland. So I've been up to Iceland. Iceland is just short of the Arctic Circle. It's around about 2 degrees, 2.5 degrees short, but it's close enough. I mean, it's close. If you go to Iceland, it's relatively cheap to go to Iceland, and you still pretty much get the midnight sun, what they call the midnight sun. It's not quite the same. The sun at night goes down. It kind of goes around the sky like that, and then it goes down. If you look towards the north, you'll see it go down like that, and it'll just bob back up again within another sort of hour or so. It'll go down for a little bit and then come back up. It must be really, really weird to see. And you can see it in Iceland. It's not quite the same as being further north. Jay's on holiday in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Have I been to New Mexico? I don't think I have. I almost went to the Four Corners, which is Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, and what's the other one? We went to see Meteor Crater at Wilmslow, Arizona. And there's the Four Corners. It's where 4 states meet. And I think it's Arizona, New Mexico, Colorado, is it? I don't know. Jay'll probably know. Frank in Blackpool is here. So, Stephen Smith, hi. Yeah, so just bear with me. It's a little bit of a cheap one tonight. I'm just using my phone for this one. I've actually had to shut my computer down, so unfortunately I can't use the software, the program, because I've shut it all down. But I will be back out again, and hopefully as we go forward this year, I will be able to get back out again and do some more live streams outside. But I don't want to do a live stream outside if it's a bad signal, because if you remember the live stream I did the other week with the moonrise, it was all over the place. It was terrible. So I'll only do a live stream outside if I can be sure that the signal is going to be good. So I don't want that to happen again, because that was it was a little bit rough, wasn't it? We've got 61 watching. Hi to Hazel. Hi to who else have we got? We have got, oh, Utah, Nancy. Thanks very much to Nancy. Utah. So I think I was right. The Four Corners, which is somewhere you can go in America. I've never been, but I'd like to go. We almost went there. We were so close, but it was a little bit too far to go because we had to go back. We had to go and get a plane from Las Vegas, I think. So we were too far to go. But you can go to 4 states within, you can sort of stand almost in 4 states at once. Hello from Michigan, Michael Ron. Hi. Evening from Cornwall, Shadow Wesker. This picture was taken in Cornwall. It was taken in the furthest, that there is the most furthest south that you can get on the UK mainland. You cannot go any further than that. Lizard Point. In fact, it's got on there the most southerly cafe. There's a cafe there. It's the most southerly cafe on the UK mainland. And just look at the sky. The sky is incredible. Hi to Chris. F11 Landscapes is in the house. I'll just move you around a bit. So again, if you're just joining us, please excuse the live stream this evening. I am doing it just on my phone. So I've had to... Rick Freeman is here, said he loves Michigan. I have been to Michigan. I cheated. We came across from Chicago. We came down Chicago into Indiana through Gary, where Michael Jackson was born. We went through Gary and then we went up into New Buffalo, and New Buffalo in Michigan. It's just on the other side. And then we could look across the lake and see Chicago, which looked absolutely amazing. You can just about see the tops of the buildings across the Lake Michigan, which is absolutely massive. But it's like a sea. Honestly, the Great Lakes are so big. They're like seas. Hi to Paul Jackson. Only just joined us. I watched the England women. You know, everyone's been telling me about this football game with the England women, and I would have watched it if I could do, but my TV doesn't work at the moment. I've got, Lena, like you've got a V box. I've got a little V box down here, and it hasn't worked for months. Honestly, I need to get some money back off them, because this box I've got, a little box, does not work, and it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked for months, so I can't watch any TV. All I can do is watch YouTube. Hi to Cats Rule. Cats Rule is here with us. Hi, Stephen. I will be doing that next year, going to Oshkosh and then off to some relatives in Ludington, Michigan, says Rick Freeman. Winter Gardens, the darts are on at the Winter Gardens. That's local, that's here, yeah. So like I said, we have got the dart. Now, if you're watching this in America, you've probably already got the dark skies. The dark skies never went away. But here in the UK, we're at 50, well, we're between 50 and about 55 degrees north. Hi to JJ. JJ's here. And that means that we're so far towards the North Pole that in the summer we get the everlasting daylight. And finally, as we come towards the end of July, finally we're going to get our dark skies back. It's going to be slow. As we go into August, this is going to be the best time to shoot the Milky Way. Towards, I would say, from the middle of August, after the next moon cycle, when we get the next sort of new moon, or after the full moon, that's going to be the time that you can go out and get your best Milky Way photos in the UK. Some people say, when's the best time to shoot the Milky Way in England or in the UK? Well, I would say August and September. Unfortunately, the best view of the Milky Way tends to be at a time when we also have the most daylight, which is June and July. You do get a good view. If you happen to be in America, or you happen to be down in Spain, Tenerife or something like that, you get a cracking view of the Milky Way in the middle of summer, because you get the dark skies, but we don't get the dark skies up here. How's Blackpool lately? I've not been on Blackpool. Yeah, we're doing okay. It's pretty busy. We've got the holidays. We have got the holidays on. The Lizard is only about 30 minutes from me. Wow. Yeah. So there you go. Yeah. We have got the dark skies. Oh, by the way, can anybody guess what time of year I took this picture, and also what time of the day I took? Can anybody guess what time of year and what time of day would I have took that picture there? Can anybody guess? Let's see if anyone knows. Got some awesome Milky Way shots in Virginia 2 years ago. The clearest skies I've ever seen. Yeah, America does have some very, very dark sky areas. I mean, the problem with our country is that we have a lot of towns close to each other, and there's not many places here where you can go to get away. Cornwall happens to be on a bit of a peninsula, so Cornwall's quite good, as you can see there. Cornwall does have very, very dark skies. It also has better weather generally than the rest of the country. It's the furthest south that you can go on the mainland. So Cornwall probably is the best, I would probably say the best place in the whole of the UK to see the Milky Way, and it also probably has the best weather as well. Now the thing is, you can see we've got the Lake Districts as well, we've got the Peak District, we've got Mid Wales, you know, the middle of Wales, even Snowdonia in Wales, but some of those places are affected. You can, there's always some part of the sky that's affected by by light pollution, but down in Cornwall, there's very, very little light pollution that you can get. Dartmoor's not far away. Dartmoor's pretty good. I think it is a designated dark sky place. How about Mid or West Wales? Well, I've been down to Mid Wales, and I've been to Snowdonia quite a lot, but I haven't been I haven't really been to the Brecons, not to do astronomy, but I haven't been down to the, I have been to the Brecons, but that was to watch the cars razzing it round the forest on the rally of Great Britain. But that was ages ago. That was before I got into astronomy. It gets super dark at night where I live. Farms, forest and swamp around here, says Cat's Rule. Cornwall is an excellent place to visit. Yeah, it's also a great place to visit as well. It can get very, very busy in the summer. Oh, it can get busy in the summer. It's a tough one. The dark sky sat in the Malverns, Wentworth's Dip, and Exmoor as well. Yeah, it's good. Rivington in winter. Rivington's all right, but it is surrounded by quite a lot of light pollution. It's not perfect. So there are some places where you can go in the UK to get a cracking view of the Milky Way. Has anyone answered that question yet or not? I'll tell you. I don't think anyone did. So this picture here, Touch Miss says 11:30 p.m. I wish. September 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time. No. August around 1 a.m. No. I actually took this photograph here in April 2017 and the time was around about 4 a.m. in the morning. 4 a.m. because that's the time. It's just about the time when the sky begins. It's usually around about 4:30 when the sky begins to brighten, when the sun rises at that time. And also, if you notice, if you look at the height of the galactic band, can you see the height of the galactic band is low enough, it doesn't get that high so that you can capture it in a panorama. Later on in the year, it rises higher. Therefore, it's harder to capture in a panorama. So the best times of year to catch these types of panoramas are around the equinoxes. So roughly around the equinoxes. This was taken in April. You can also get a panorama as well in September as well. So those are the times when the Milky Way, the galactic band of the Milky Way, gets to a certain height. You want to try and catch it when it gets to its highest point, but before the brightness of the sun starts to begin to affect the sky. So it's all about timing, really. And the funny thing is, when I go to that place at 4 o'clock in the morning, there is nobody else there. Or if there is, they're doing the same thing that I'm doing. I think there was somebody else there when I was there, but it was. And normally during the day, a place like that would be absolutely stuffed with people, absolutely chock full of tourists in the summer. Let's start taking my glasses off. I can't read these comments. I'm struggling, folks, because of my glasses. Hi to Matt K. Can we get to 100 watching? Come on, we've got 83. Hit the thumbs up. Walls Hill in Torquay is a good place, but other than that, it's heavily light polluted. I said spring before dawn, moonage. April at 4 a.m. April, 4 a.m. I couldn't have took it much later than that because the sky would soon start to brighten. So if you look just down there, that's the interesting part of the galaxy. That's this is the core of the galaxy here. We've got the core there on that side, and over this side we're kind of looking towards the outside of the galaxy. So this is the Milky Way. Imagine that's the disk. It's distorted, of course, because it's a panorama. It doesn't really look like it does in this picture. But if you imagine we're inside the disk and that's the actual disk there, anything above it and below it is it's still the Milky Way, but it's outside. It's not within the actual disk that we can see. It's part of the galaxy. So the thing is that when you go out to look at the stars at night in your back garden, you're looking at the Milky Way, no matter where you're looking at. The Milky Way is always there. It's always there at all times of the year. It doesn't matter. I mean, even if you can't see the galactic band, it doesn't mean you can't see the Milky Way. But what we tend to do is, astronomers and photographers, astrophotographers, we tend to call the Milky Way this bright section here. If any of you've seen it, you'll know what I'm talking about. But we tend to call that the Milky Way. But in theory, everything that we see in the night sky, everything bar a couple of things is a part of the Milky Way. But this is what we tend to call the Milky Way. What it really is the galactic band. It's the disk. It's the actual disk. The disk of the galaxy. I'll just answer some questions. I've got to take my glasses off. Andromeda, yeah, Frank mentions Andromeda because you can actually see the Andromeda galaxy. In fact, I don't know if you can see it, but the Andromeda galaxy is there. It's there. I don't know if you can see that. It's there on the photograph. It's the only thing that we can see in the whole of the UK that's outside of the Milky Way, with your naked eye, that is. So you can see outside the Milky Way with your naked eye. Lighthouse in the middle, yeah. Lizard Point Lighthouse, yeah. So I'm just checking up on the comments. So I've got 83 watching. I'd like to go back to the Ribble Valley. Oh, Ribblehead Viaduct during August and try from there. Yeah, that's a good place, the Ribblehead Viaduct. Mike's here, dark sky photography. Looks like the core is on the left of the image when I thought it would be on the right side. I think it's a time of year, Mike. I think if you take the picture, it's probably flipped. If you take it another time of year, you'll probably see it. It's really, it's a little bit, obviously with it being a panorama, it does look quite strange, doesn't it? But it's one of my favourite pictures that I've ever taken, and I had to make quite an effort to take that. Hi to Richard, Richard's here. Hi to Alan, Alan Griffiths. Hi to Helen. Audrey Harding is here, hi. Welcome everyone. Hopefully I'll get back to doing some videos outside, live streams outside. Hopefully we'll have a better signal than the last one. If you remember when we watched the moon rise from St. Anne's last time, the signal was, well, it was terrible, wasn't it? We just couldn't get going, could we? Frank has a sexy new camera and can't wait to get and try the Milky Way. Yeah, he's got a new, hey, I've got a new lens. I've got a new lens and I was going to do a video. Simon Caldwell, hi to Simon. Simon's here. Bought the Stellarium app for me. It explains things better. Yeah, I do think the Stellarium app is the best. Maybe Sky Safari as well. Mike says that the call's coming back. Does anyone want to see my new camera lens? Because I have got a new camera lens. I have got a new camera lens. Why did it take so long to recognise the Andromeda Galaxy? Well, that goes back to, what did they call it in the olden days? The Andromeda Galaxy. They used to think it was a nebula. They used to think that it was a nebula. And they already knew about nebulas, the Orion Nebula and a few other nebulas out there. So they used to think that the Andromeda Galaxy, a little smudge in the sky, you can see it with the naked eye, and through a telescope it does look quite it's quite obvious, you know, when you look at it through a telescope. The Filed Flyer is here. They used to call them nebula. That's right. They used to call. They didn't know they were we didn't know. It's only going back 150 years or so. We didn't know that we were in a Milky Way. It's amazing to think that we did not know so far back, even just back 150 years ago. It wasn't until was it Edwin Hubble, who at the Mount Wilson Observatory in California measured the Milky Way, and he actually sussed that the Milky Way was actually expanding, or the universe, should I say, was expanding. Actually sussed that the universe was expanding. He saw Andromeda Galaxy. We knew then that the Andromeda Nebula was another galaxy outside of our own. So we sussed quite a lot out, but it took us a little while to James Wade 5-0 against Luke Littler. Is that in sets or is that just I don't know. I'm not watching. Can we see your new lens? Asked Dutch Miss. I've seen the Andromeda Galaxy with my Nikon Action 10x50 binoculars, yeah. You can see it with the naked eye. You can go out into your backyard. It's probably not the best time of year now, but later in the year, I'll try and do another video on that. I've been to the Mount Wilson Observatory, says Jay. So have I. I've been to the Mount Wilson Observatory, yeah. And you know what? It's not dark up there because there's nothing but light pollution all over the place. They don't use it as they don't use it as a serious observatory now. Funny enough, when I went to the Mount Wilson Observatory, the Los Angeles Stargazing Society were actually doing they had a meeting up there, didn't they? Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Yeah, isn't that amazing? I'm just going to see if I can find a picture. But it was not very dark. I took a picture I've only got one picture from up there. I think that's the San Gabriel Mountains. Can you see that? I took that from the top of Mount... Well, I don't think it was the top of Mount... Yeah, I think it was on the top of Mount Wilson. Can you see that? There, look. That's the San Gabriel Mountains. Absolutely spectacular view. Andromeda is 4 million light years. We still see it without telescopes. I think it's 2 and a bit, isn't it? 2.5. A little bit closer. Michaela Walsh. Hi. Moon is daydream. Jonathan Nicholson. If you go to the top of Snowdonia, Wales, marvellous. Oh yeah, I bet it is. Yeah. Betelgeuse has a companion star. Stephen Smith has been to Jodrell Bank. Right, who wants to see England women won the Euros? Yeah, I would have watched that if I could watch my TV, but my thing, it doesn't work, does it? My cable box does not work, so I can't. Right, let's show you this lens I've got. Wait till you see this. You're going to love this. Oh, it weighs an absolute ton, by the way. Oh my goodness. See if you can guess what lens this is. Oh, look at this. Look at that, folks. Wow. That is a beast. Let's see if I take the lens cap off. It's got a big lens cap on it. Now, I've got this lens because I've actually been out of the long lens market for quite a while, and I decided to get myself a new lens. Now it's a Nikon 200, or should I say, they've got a few Americans watching. Nikon 200 to 400 millimeter f5.6. There's the can you see that? Is that upside down? Well, it looks upside down on mine. It's probably, is that the wrong way around? I don't know. I don't know if that's the wrong way around. But this is a beast. It weighs 2.3 kilograms. It's not, you see, it's got a foot on it. Look, you definitely need that foot, because you can handhold this lens, but you can't handhold it for very long. It's a bit of a handful. 200 to 500 millimeter f5.6. Now the f5.6 corresponds to the aperture, and that aperture does not change when you zoom from 200 to 500, and I think that's pretty good. It's a fixed aperture zoom. Now I used to have a bigger lens than this back in the olden days. I used to have a 500 millimeter f4, but it was not, and it was a beautiful lens, but it was not a very practical lens. This is a much more practical lens. I can use this for air shows, bird photography, and I can also use it for astronomy, hopefully. Yeah, I can use it to shoot astronomy, and that's what I'm going to be trying to do. I can use it to shoot the moon. That's one of the main reasons why I bought it, because I've actually not had a lens this size for years. It's been ages. All I've been able to do is use a telescope. So I've been out of the market for a long lens. So at last I've got myself a long lens that I can shoot the moon with and get those amazing photographs of the moon, which I like to do. I wonder if there's Japanese saying Nikon or Nikon, says Jay. Nearly as fast as my SW200p reflector telescope. Size is not important, says Frank in Blackpool, quite snigger. Hazel's going. Bye, Hazel. I saw that about Beetlejuice having a companion. I didn't know about that. Moon bazooka. Yeah, that's why I bought the lens, because it must be about 6 or 7 years since I had a lens that would go to 500mm. It's too long. And I have been using telescopes, but telescopes are not really all that practical. I can use that lens there for a lot of different things. Like I say, for shooting wildlife, I can use it for air shows, and I can also use it for shooting the moon in astronomy and all that sort of stuff. So I think that it'll be a great lens. That's why I got it, because I've been short, and I need a lens. I need a big lens, folks, for the moon rises. I mean, look at the lens cap. That's a lens. It's a 95mm. It's a 95mm filter. 95mm filter on that lens there. Is everything the wrong way around? Can someone tell me? Is that? I think it is wrong. It's flipped, isn't it? Because you know when you do when you do videos on your phone, for some reason everything's kind of flipped when you use a selfie camera. Now I have to use the portrait camera on the phone. I have to use it for the live stream because I need to see the screen, you see. But everything's kind of flipped. You know what I mean? Everything's flipped. Yeah. So I think when Mike was saying the Milky Way is the wrong way around, he's right. Imagine that if it was flipped the other way. Everything you're looking at is flipped on the horizontal. So you'll have to excuse me for that. So if I hold up this magazine here, it's the wrong way around, isn't it? There might be a setting in the phone where I can change that. Jay says, I wonder if there is a quiz tonight. Well, I have got a quiz, but like I say, I'm doing it on the cheap this week, folks. I am here, but unfortunately, I can't use the computer, so I've had to just do it on my phone. I wonder if there's a quiz. Yes. Pucker Life. Your cap logo is back to front. Yeah, so Levi's is back to front as well. You know what I can do, right? Bear with me. I can make everything the right way around. Just bear with me. I'm just going to do something now which will show things the right way around, hopefully. So. Now then, is that the right way around? Am I the right way around now? I bet I am, yeah. There you go. See, I told you, didn't I? I said, I can. Just doing the test there, yeah. So, should be the right way around there now. I'll just bring you back round. We'll get it in a minute. Get to see some of the room there as well. So, I think you don't exist. Steve's the bassist. Oh, you saw my guitar. Someone saw my bass guitar. I can't play it. It's just there. It's just furniture. It's just furniture. No need to time lapse with a 500mm lens of the moon. The focal length less gives you a nice length, capturing smooth recording across the frame. So I have got a quiz. Unfortunately, they're not new questions. I'm doing it on the cheap. Please excuse me while I do this on the cheap this week. I'm being a bit lazy. Lee Aaron, ever thought about doing a tutorial about using photo pills, as I found it hard to understand. I can't do a tutorial about photo pills because I know nothing about photo pills, but I can do one on the photographer's ephemeris, which I use. Everyone wants to look at my guitar now. If you're happy with camera video quality, I'm ducking out of the quiz. Eating me yummy get fit and detox yogurt, says Rick. Far superior than doing photo time lapses. What's that, Frank? Someone talking about doing time lapses. So yeah, I do have a quiz. And I'll just go back to this lens again. Now the reason why I bought, so this camera here is a 46 megapixel camera. That's a lot of megapixels. That's a lot of megapixels, that. It's actually got almost twice the amount of megapixels as my other camera, the Panasonic S5. So effectively, it'll get twice as close. Not now, in the real world, that might not compute, but it's a 46 megapixel camera, and it's an old one now. I bought this in 2018. I think it's discontinued now. They don't make this camera now, but 46 megapixels with this on it, a 200 to 500 millimeter lens. Now you can also use this with a converter as well, so you can put a converter on and double that to 1,000 millimeters. Now at 1,000 millimeters, it would be f11. I think it would be f11. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it would be very slow, and I don't think that I would use a converter. I don't think I'd use a 2x converter on it. I might use a 1.4, but I wouldn't want to try using a 2x converter. In fact, in most cases, I would just use it as it is. I think I would just use it as it is. But I'll look at all these switches. It's got loads of switches on it. It's got one for manual focus and auto focus override. It's got one there for, what's that there? Oh, a limiter. So you can limit, if you're taking pictures within a certain distance, you can limit the focus distance. It's also got, what's that? Is that, oh, that's vibration reduction, on or off. And it's also got active or normal vibration. So there's two different vibration reduction things on the camera. There's one for if you're just hand holding the lens, and the other one is for if you're in a helicopter or if you're in a plane or something. You use the, I believe you use the active if you're in a plane. There's different settings for different things, but it's also got where is it? Can't find it now. Oh yeah. Can you see that there? There's also a zoom lock. So what that does is it basically stops the lens from creeping. If you hold the lens like that, what can happen is the zoom out. See, I'm zooming out there now. Look, that's it at full zoom. Can you see? And that's what the zoom lock's for. The zoom lock stops it from zooming out when you're carrying it. So yeah, so there you go. That's a lens. So hopefully I will be doing a video about that, just like an introductory video, and we'll see how it performs on the moon. So how are we doing? He might have gone to Mark Ellis for a Swift half a bass. If only Mark Ellis sold bass. How many pixels do the latest cameras have? I think they have about the same. I think the new Z series Nikons have the same. A fantastic catch of the wind crossing the frame is raw, normal speed, got good responses. 46mm, great to crop image, yeah. Frankie Blackburn, my Micro Four Thirds camera with 100 to 4 is awesome for filming the moon. Andrew Markin, the image is reversed looking at your Nikon logo on the camera. Yeah, it's just because I'm using the phone, and the portrait camera that I'm using on the phone flips everything like that. So it's just the way it is, I'm afraid. Even better having the 46mm with no cropping with that puppy, no. So we're getting close to quiz time. If anyone would want the quiz, type 1. Can you see the Isle of Man with that? I think I probably can, you know. I think I'll be having a look over there when it's clear. Do we have enough treats for the back row at Moonage? Everyone's typing 1. There are some nice lenses out there. Like I say, I used to have a 500mm f4. It was I sold it for £4,500. One lens, £4,500. The reason why I sold it is because it was a great lens. It was fantastic lens, but it wasn't that practical for everyday use. You could only really use it in certain conditions or certain situations. And it was honestly the 500. I've got a picture of me using it here. So I just want to show you this photograph there. Can you see that? That's me with the 500mm f4. And that was in Wales at the Mac Loop. So that was the lens I used to have. And I'll just show you a picture that I took with it, if I'll find it. Get some amazing photographs of the planes. Look at that. Look at that. We were above the planes. The F-15s from Lakenheath. Look at that. Isn't it amazing? Yeah, so that was what I took with that. So I'll be able to get a similar picture. Similar pictures with this one. Absolutely amazing. Look at this one. This is what it looks like when one of them's coming almost straight towards you. Look at that. That is amazing. Right, okay, so I mentioned we've got a quiz. I'm going a bit off topic here, showing you planes, aren't I? But never mind. We're now ready for the quiz, I think. I'm just going to have a drink of water because my voice tends to go a little bit. Oh, I needed that. Thanks, Mike. It's cheaper to get a 1000mm focal length reflector telescope, but not very portable. No, definitely not. When filming with a Panasonic, I get an extra 30% as if by magic. I've got my eye on a Sigma 60-600 full frame. Right, here we go. I've got the I might crack open another can of Guinness. What? I mean, another can of Guinness. So you've already cracked open one or more. No, I've not had I've not had a drink of Bass since last Tuesday. No. I'm having a Bass diet at the moment. So we've got the quiz. Here we go. Number one. I have asked these questions before. Thanks, Simon. Get yourself down to the Mac Loop. It's amazing. I've been looking on Facebook this week and there's people taking awesome pictures. They've got the F-35s going through. F-35. Got all sorts of aircraft going through there. You even have some Mirages, you know, the French. They're the French ones, aren't they? They go through. Typhoon, of course. Helicopters. Loads and loads of stuff going through. Anyway, random questions about astronomy. Here we go. Number one. These are completely random. Well, mostly random. I've asked this before, but you know, the more you ask the question, the more you get right. How many planets are there? So how many planets have we got? Got to keep taking my glasses off because the problem is that these glasses are very focal. Can you see? They're very focal. And the long-sighted at the top and for short-sighted reading at the bottom. And when I'm wearing them and looking at the screen, I'm looking through the wrong part of the glass. So I have to lift my head up like that. And if I take them off, I can see the screen. I don't even need them, but I do think I look a bit weird. But do you think I look a bit weird without the glasses? I think I look a bit weird without them. What do you reckon? But it's just right. Everyone seems to. Well, most people have got the right answer. The first person to answer was Frank in Blackpool with 9. He must be a Pluto fan. Michael Hassel is also a Pluto fan. Stephen Smith was the first one to get it right with 8. So it is actually 8. 8. We've got 8 planets. But if it was before 2006, there would have been 9. So yeah, there are 8 planets. And we have got 8 planets. Well, there might be another one out there. There might be that Planet X out there, or whatever they call it. Well, you know, the missing planet that they were looking for when they were looking for, and they found Pluto. But Pluto's just a little, it's like a little pea, really, isn't it? At the end of the, and I've been to the observatory where he found Pluto as well. I've been to Flagstaff in Arizona. I've seen the telescope that he used to find Pluto. So I've been all over the place, haven't I? If you was a planet, what would you call yourself? I've never really thought of that question. Steve Smith was the first who said 8. Yeah, that's right. So Steve Smith was first. Second question. This is quite easy, this one. What is the closest planet to the sun? So what's the closest planet to the sun? Mildred said she thinks she was first. Let's go back. Yeah, I think it's again, I think on my screen, I have to look at who gets it first on my screen. So some people, it might look like you're first on your screen, but not on mine. So don't blame me. I'm only looking at my screen. I'm looking at where they come. And Stephen Smith was the first one on my screen. Honest. So let's see who's got this one now. We're on to the closest planet to the sun. And the first person to answer was Mike. Dark Sky said Venus. But the first person to get it right on my screen is the Filed Flyer, followed closely by Stephen Smith and Goldie and Michael and Kevin, Simon, Richard, there's Mercury. Yep. So the answer was Mercury. You know, you can see Mercury. Did anyone see that video that we did? I think I was with Frank last year, and we saw Mercury, and it was so clear. I've never seen Mercury so clear. It was so obvious. I did the video last year. I think it was might have been from Lytham or somewhere like that. I might have been on my own, I don't know. But yeah, Mercury is pretty easy to see. You just need to get the timing right. And you need to have a decent horizon, because it doesn't really get, you know, Mercury doesn't stray very far from the sun. So it's not always that easy to see. Stargate, that's right, yeah. Question number 3. So that's the closest planet. What's the furthest planet from the Earth? Well, from the sun. So what's the furthest planet from the sun? Jay said, I saw Mercury last year after Steve explained how. Yeah, it's, if you ask most people, they'll say they've never seen Mercury. In fact, most people will probably tell you they've never even seen a planet, because they don't even know what a planet is. They'll just see some bright object in the sky and they'll say, oh, is that a star? When it could be Venus or it could be Jupiter. So it's, most people probably don't know what's up there, really. Yeah, they've probably seen a lot of things but didn't realise what they were. We've got a Pluto fan. Jay's a Pluto fan, the furthest planet. Well, if it was before 2006, that would have been the right answer, but we are in 2025. And the first person to get it right on my screen is Michael Hassal. Well done to Michael. Closely followed by the Filed Flyer and Kevin and Goldie and Stephen with Neptune. Neptune is the furthest planet, the ice giant. It is the ice giant. Mildred got Neptune as well. So we're now on to question number 4. These are actually fairly easy. I've got some hard ones coming up after this. So the next set of questions after this are going to be quite a bit harder. My very educated mother just served us nachos, says Richard. Did Muhammad split the moon in half with a sword? I don't know. Question number 4. What is known as the third rock from the sun? So what is known as the third rock from the sun? There was a TV show, wasn't there? Third rock from the sun. I'm going to look over the top of my glasses now. Great TV show, says Lucky Leo. So the answer I was looking for was... Sorry, I've got to take these glasses off. The first person to get it right on my screen is the Filed Flyer. Closely followed by Michael, Goldie, Kevin, Stephen, Nancy, Paul, who said us, Pucker Life, Earth, Jay, Earth, Mildred, Earth, Cat's Rule, Earth. It was a sitcom here in the US. Blackpool Rock, Carl J. 5th question, these are the easy ones. This is the last of the easy ones. On which planet would you find the Great Red Spot? So on which planet would you find the Great Red Spot? That's right, Michael. We've got answers coming in. So the planet that has the Great Red Spot is... Just checking my screen. The File Flyer's on a roll. Jupiter. And Stephen Smith as well. All pretty much came in at the same time. Nancy, all these came in pretty much at the same time, but the File Flyer on my screen was just ahead of everybody else. No, Mars. Actually, Mars has got the biggest volcano. So that Mars has got something to cheer about. But yeah, Jupiter. The answer to that was Jupiter. So the answer, the Great Red Spot, it's the storm. It's like a cyclone on Jupiter. And it's red. And you can see it through a telescope. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. It's been raging ever since they discovered Jupiter. For now, about 300 years now. Yeah. Hard questions. 5 hard questions. Who discovered Uranus and where? And I don't want anyone laughing at this question. I could probably say that in a different way and it would probably sound a bit naughty. Who discovered Uranus and where? And I've actually been to this place. I've actually been there, yeah. I've been to the place. I've been to lots of these places where all these discoveries have been made. I've been to the place where I've been to where Edwin Hubble discovered the expanding universe, Mount Wilson. I've been to Flagstaff, Arizona, where Tom, what's he called? Tom, can't remember his name. The guy that discovered Pluto. I've been to Jodrell Bank. That's already down the road, Jodrell Bank, isn't it? I've been to Greenwich. Yeah, I've been to loads of places. And I've also been to Bath. And I've been to the house where William Herschel, the astronomer, used to live in Bath. And he discovered that planet from his backyard. Yeah, so it was William Herschel. And I've been there. And it's a museum and you can go and it's amazing. So go on holiday to Bath and make sure to visit William Herschel's house. I think it was the File Flyer that got the first right answer, I think. Again, File Flyer is quick. Maybe it's internet connection. Maybe File Flyer's got a good internet and beating everybody else. Herschel at Greenwich. Not quite Greenwich, it was Bath. Yeah, Bath. I've been to the house. Your videos light up my day and inspire me deeply. They remind me of my own journey, so please keep sharing your beautiful journey with the world. Herschel was looking for faint stars, but no idea where he was. Discovery was made. Tombow, that's right, yeah. Clyde Tombow, sorry, yeah. I'm only in Thornton, lol, says the foul flyer. Question number 7. Which is the hottest planet? So which is the hottest planet? You know, the amazing thing is that when I went to Flagstaff, we flew in to Phoenix, Arizona, and it was 85 degrees. 85 degrees. Went straight from the airport, straight up to Flagstaff, because we wanted to go to the observatory. So we didn't hang around in Phoenix. When we got to Flagstaff, there was snow on the ground. There was snow. It wasn't snowing, but there was snow. It was sort of melting, but they had snow. It was unbelievable. And I had a t-shirt on, and honestly, it was absolutely freezing. And we'd just come from Phoenix in Arizona, where it was 85 degrees. And we go over there, and it's something like 40. It's in the 40s. It's ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. The hottest planet is... Oh, Frank in Blackpool has got in there first with Venus, just beating the foul flyer. Frank in Blackpool must have turned his internet connection up a bit. Clyde Flyer lives next door to Steve. Foul flyer. I'm closer than Thornton, says Frank in Blackpool. Crystal Radio, hi. Flagstaff is 7,000 feet elevation. That's why the difference. Yeah. See if I can find a picture. And you know what? We stayed at a hotel in Flagstaff, and it was one of the worst hotels I have ever stayed. It was a roadway inn. So Jay, what do you know about roadway inns? Because honestly, I have never ever gone near one since. Mind you, saying that, if you watch my video that I did in Dallas last year when I stayed at that flea pit of a hotel in Dallas, I said I'd never stay in a hotel as bad as that one, but I think that one might have just picked this road. It was a horrible hotel, absolutely ghastly, horrible hotel. I'll see if I've got pictures. So, question number 8. Which planet has the most temperature extremes, cold to hot? So which planet has the most extreme temperature range? Which planet has the most extreme temperature range? What do you think of the object scientists maybe think will be an alien probe? My money's on it being a massive comet. I don't know about that. I'd have to have a look. I stay at a Little America hotel in Flagstaff. Yeah, it was full of roaches, that hotel. That. I live near Flagstaff, says Nancy Tompkins. Interesting. So we've got answers coming in for the planet that has the most temperature extremes. And the answer is Mercury. And the first person to get it right was Stephen Smith, closely followed by Frank in Blackpool and Michael. Well, actually, Michael's just took his... It might have been the wrong answer. Goldie, M3D 1087, Mercury, 1 cross each. Paul Drakefield. So the answer was Mercury. I think only Avi Loeb thinks they're alien probes. Interesting. I might need to do a video about aliens. What do you think? I can't find a picture of Flagstaff, but there's a picture of me when I was a bit younger. It's all back to front, sorry. But I think you can see Phoenix on there. And I don't know, just like all the signs, crazy signs. So where are we up to now? M3D 1087 said they thought they were first. Not on my screen. I said it has to be on my screen. The first person to get Mercury on my screen was Stephen Smith. You were 1, 2, Frank in Blackpool, goalie, and then M3D. I said before, I said it's what comes on. But if you're watching it on your screen, you might come before somebody else, but it has to be on my screen. The competition is heating up on the quiz. Right, okay, here we go. Question number 9. How long is a day on Venus? So how long is a day on Venus? How long is a day on Venus? Don't mention heat, it's scorching here. Well, it's been pretty warm here, you know. If you call low 70s warm, it's probably nothing to what it is over there. It's probably 90s, late 90s over there. We have it cool over here. The highest temperature we've had here so far this year is 30, about 30 degrees. So what are the answers for the longest? What was it? How long is the day on Venus? It's actually, hang on. It's actually longer than a year. It's longer than a year. It takes longer for a day on Venus than it does for a year, because it rotates slower than it goes around the sun. Can you believe that? So a day is longer on Venus than it is a year. 243 days, that's how long a day is on Venus. And it's 244 days, sorry, 225 for a year. So a day is longer on Venus. And how about that? Isn't that amazing? Stephen, the heat index is 110 degrees. I said 90s. I'm nothing. I'm not even close. It's over 100 degrees. Where cats rule is. I hope you've got air conditioning. Absolutely unbelievable. We don't know how lucky we are here, do we? And I bet it gets really cold in winter. The first person to get that last question right was Mick DC. Mick DC on my screen. Well done to Mick DC. Followed by Stephen Smith. Oh, not Stephen Smith. That was wrong. Sorry. Longer. It's a year. Yeah, the foul fly. More than a year. Yeah. 110 degrees is amazingly hot, cats, and I bet the humidity is bad too. Are you a Fahrenheit person or a Celsius person? Now, here in the UK and Europe, we use the Celsius scale. But you think about the Celsius scale, it only goes from, say, well, if you imagine 0 degrees, which is the freezing point, up to about 35. Or if you live in Spain, you'll probably get to 40. You're only using less than half of the scale. If it was the Fahrenheit scale, you'd use more of it. You'd get up to 100 degrees in the summer if you're in Spain. And you'd also, over here in the UK, we'd get down to, I'm not sure if we'd get down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit, because that's probably about -15. Probably would do. In the depths of winter in Scotland, you'd get down to 0 degrees Fahrenheit. That would be about -15 centigrade. But I think the Fahrenheit scale is more usable. It's better than, even though the Celsius scale is metric. The Fahrenheit scale is imperial, but I think it's better. I think it's easier to use. You can use more of it. It's more intuitive. If you say it's 70 degrees, it's nice, you know. If you say it's 50 degrees, you might want to put your coat on. If you say it's 30 degrees, you're going to be putting a big coat on, aren't you? And a scarf probably. So it's more usable. Whereas with Celsius, you've only really got a range of 0 degrees. You're into minuses, aren't you? You're into maybe -5 here where I live. It doesn't get much less than -5. And then it doesn't go any more than 30. So we've only got -5 to 30. So we're only using part of it. Anyway, I'm going off topic again. I'm going off topic. We're overtime as well. I'm going into overtime, folks. I'm going into overtime. Last question. Another random question. What is the mean distance to our furthest planet? What is the mean? That's the average distance, not because you have to. There's sometimes things are a bit closer, sometimes a bit further away. So what's the mean distance to our furthest planet, the furthest planet from the sun? Mooney says she doesn't like the heat. It was 24 degrees in Scotland, and I thought that was bad enough. It must be so uncomfortable for you. It's 87 Fahrenheit in Santa Fe at the moment. That's not bad, is it? 87 Fahrenheit. What would that be in Celsius? That would be about 20. That would be about. I think it would be about 30. 87 is about 30 degrees Celsius. So let's hear it for the Fahrenheit scale. Hazel said she's just missed the quiz. Oh dear. Although the UV index is off the... Dr. Howe's Lounge, 219,000 light years. Wow, that's a long way. Cats real, I dislike the hot weather immensely. About 4.5 billion kilometres. Frank in Blackpool, the coldest I've walked in the Lake District was -14. -14. I think the coldest temperature I've ever done in this country, in the UK, is in Scotland when it got down to -10. -10 is about the coldest I've ever experienced. That was in Scotland. The Filed Flyer should use the Kelvin scale for temperature. Well, NASA, the space agency, they use the astronomers, professional astronomers use the Kelvin scale. Maybe we should do away with Fahrenheit, do away with Celsius, and just use Kelvin. And by the way, we're on the question here, aren't we? I've got to go back and see who got this question right. How far is it to 4 light? I don't know. You might be right. 1 cross each. I don't know. 40 million miles, said Stephen Smith. No, it's a bit more than that, I think. 290,000 light years. No, it's not that far away. 4.5 billion kilometres. You're not far off, actually, said Mick DC. I'm going to tell you the answer. The mean distance to Neptune is 30 AUs. That's 30 distances from the Earth to the Sun. An AU is the mean distance between us, the Earth, and the Sun. That's an AU, an astronomical unit. The mean distance between the Earth and the Sun. And there's 30 of those from the Sun to Neptune. So Neptune is pretty far out there. It's going to be pretty cold. 1 Kelvin equals -273 degrees. Does that mean absolute zero? I think that might be absolute zero, you know. Whichever they use, my tomatoes won't ripen. David Fairclough, 30 AU, just got in there at the end. I was in -76 Fahrenheit in Churchill, Manitoba, Canada. Sorry, my camera froze. I'm not surprised. I hope you had some sort of suit on or something. But -76 Fahrenheit, that is insane. When you think about it, 32 degrees Fahrenheit is 0 degrees Celsius. So what would -76 be? That's incredible. Canada is pretty cold. But anyway, that's it, folks. I've gone over. I always seem to go over, don't I? We got there in the end. In fact, the subs are going up. Let's see if we can get more. Can we get 100 people? Come on. I'm doing it on the cheap this week. Let's see if we can get to 100 people watching. Hit the like button. Well, I'm here every other Sunday. I do live streams. Sometimes I go out and I film the stars. So, way! I've just seen it go to 100. I thought I was never going to get there in this bit. I'm doing it on the cheap. I'm using my phone, and I normally like to push the boat out a bit if I can, and I'll go outside and I'll film something. And hopefully the next time I go outside and do a live stream, I'll have a much better signal than I had last time, because the last live stream I did outside was not very good. So thanks for joining us, everyone. Thank you very much for all the mods. Hazel, Moonage, Jay, Stephen. If there's anyone I forgot, I'm sorry. Thanks for everyone for joining in. Cat's Real, all the way from the US of A. Dutch Miss, Mildred, all the regulars, Fonzie Das, not forgetting Fonzie Das. I'm just going through the filed flyer. Frankie in Blackpool was here. Yeah, so that's it for this one, folks. I'll see you again in a couple of weeks, and in the meantime I'm going to see if I can do a video about this lens. Be like an introductory video, really. Just a little introductory video telling you about why I got it, and I'll test it out as well. I'll see how good it is next time we get a nice full moon. Or it doesn't even have to be a full moon, but just like a crescent moon or something. We'll see if I can get a good picture with the lens. So that'll be good, won't it? So I'll try and do that. But that's it for this video. My voice is going as well, so my voice always tends to go towards the end of the stream. So that's it. Bye, everyone. I'll see you again in another couple of weeks, and hopefully in the meantime I might be able to do a video with the lens. So look out for that, and I will see you again on the next one. Let's see if we can turn this thing off.